UFC Abu Dhabi is officially over. Reinier de Ridder defeats Robert Whittaker in a very close split decision win. Overall, I thought this was a good fight. I enjoyed watching it. I thought Robert Whittaker looked good. Although he lost, I thought he had a good performance. But overall, the story of this fight is RDR. His overall physical being, his pressure, his just strength and size was just way too much for Robert Whittaker. Whittaker couldn't do anything to stop it. And there were moments where, especially in the third round, where Whittaker is like piecing up RDR. He drops him, lands a great combination, and RDR survives. He grapples with Whittaker, gets up, throws knees up the middle. Whittaker gets hurt now. He's against the fence, and that's it. RDR somehow will throw knees up the middle, uppercuts, and overhand rights with no setups, just throwing them, not even blocking, still land them, and then clinch up with Whittaker with no problem at all, which is the funniest thing. RDR fights like someone when you're playing the UFC game and the person you're fighting is just throwing the power shots. They're not throwing any setups. They're not throwing a jab, a straight hand, then a left hook. They're just throwing a left hook, uppercut, overhand right, knee up the middle, spinning back kick, and somehow it lands on you every time. That's RDR fighting. RDR is the weirdest fighter. He really is the goofiest fighter. Although I think he is good, and now he's on a 4-fight win streak, and he just beat the number 5th ranked fighter, Robert Whittaker. I don't know if RDR is championship material yet. When I was watching him strike with no setup, and he's just throwing knees up the middle, not even blocking his face, I was thinking, if he was fighting DDP is doing that leaping jab and just going to stuff RDR. I do think RDR looks really good in the grappling department. I think his jiu-jitsu is better than DDP. I think his overall grappling knowledge is probably better than DDP. But when it comes to being on the feet, the striking, the setups, the footwork, the distance management, there were multiple times where I thought, man, RDR looks weird. It's not that he's doing anything wrong in a sense, but he just looks goofy doing it, and it looks like he should be getting beat up on the feet. And that's why I thought Robert Whittaker was going to win. I thought because of Robert Whittaker's speed, he would be able to beat the footwork and the goofiness of RDR and be able to win. But RDR's power, his knees, and his just overall strength, Robert Whittaker couldn't do anything. But I think RDR, he can win good fights by just being more physical than his opponent. But when it comes from pure technique and skill, I don't know if RDR has that. And I know that sounds crazy because he just beat Robert Whittaker, who is a very skillful fighter, who has a lot of experience, former champion. But when you're watching Reinier de Ridder fight on the feet, he's literally throwing a knee up the middle with no setup. His hands are down. It's not even like he's whipping his hands back, putting one by his face and a knee up the middle. He's literally just throwing a knee up the middle with his hands down. And then his clinch up work, it's not like he's exiting the clinch and throwing an elbow or exiting the grap like a takedown and then throwing an uppercut or something. He's literally entering these grappling exchanges with no punches or knees and then exiting them without any punches or knees, which I thought was very interesting. RDR, overall good fighter. He has good experience. I think he has some good wins. He's ranked 13th right now, but I imagine he'll be top 5 after beating Robert Whittaker. I imagine RDR will now fight someone in the top 5. So either Israel Adesanya or Sean Strickland are probably the two options. Nasruddin Imavov is fighting Kai Pahalo. So that leaves Israel Adesanya and Sean Strickland in the top 5. You would think Sean Strickland is going to fight Israel Adesanya because Izzy wants that rematch. But I could see RDR getting a jump to the title shot, maybe against Sean Strickland or Izzy, and trying to set up DDP versus RDR. Because, if you're in the MMA world looking at, the Instagram pages, this whole middleweight division is set up behind DDP versus RDR. Two goofy fighters, two fighters that win from the weirdest exchanges, the weirdest ways. I like RDR a lot. I think he's a good fighter. He definitely showed me his physical being against Robert Whittaker. So anybody that's shorter than RDR, I'm probably having them. They're probably going to lose unless someone is the exact same size as RDR. I would like to see RDR fight Israel Adesanya next. RDR, if he wins, he gets the title shot next between, Hamzat or DDP. For Robert Whittaker, this doesn't look so great because this was a split decision loss, and although it was a close fight, he lost to a guy who was ranked 13th. So I imagine he's going to drop down now anywhere from 5 to 10. I wouldn't mind seeing Robert Whittaker fight someone like Roman Dolidze, maybe Brendan Allen. Marvin Vettori wouldn't be, so bad seeing that fight again. So a lot of fun matchups. RDR looked good. I wouldn't mind seeing RDR versus DDP, but I think DDP smokes RDR. I think RDR is a good fighter, but I think he still has a lot of holes in his striking department, and I think DDP is he's just so good, and he's gotten a lot better, especially, since his fight against Robert Whittaker, where he finished him in the second round. I think DDP has just gotten better each and every fight, so I think DDP beats RDR, but who knows, RDR could level up even more and get a lot better on the feet. But that was my recap of UFC Abu Dhabi. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment what you thought about the fight, and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next video.